Hello and welcome, dear friends, to another edition of Umuntu, a special economic development program devoted to free ideas for promoting fairness and human well-being in Malawi. The role of political leaders and ordinary citizens, how Malawi can get a foothold on the development ladder, and what holds back development progress in Malawi are some of the questions we tackle in this program. In today's edition, we focus on a thought-provoking, sensitive, and pressing topic: the recent marching of religious institutions against LGBTQ rights in Malawi. Joining us as our guest is Dean Duncan, one of the advocates for human rights and social justice in America. He is an avid fan of Malawi. Together, we aim to explore the fairness of these actions and discuss the potential consequences they may bring. I'm your host, Crispin Dambula. Stay tuned. Thank you for being with us today, Dean. To set the stage, could you briefly summarize the recent events surrounding the LGBTQ rights protests in Malawi?
Thank you for having me, Crispin. Certainly, in recent weeks, religious institutions in Malawi organized a series of marches against LGBTQ rights, expressing their opposition to any moves that promote what they consider to be non-traditional relationships and gender identities. These demonstrations sparked a heated debate within the country and brought to light the ongoing struggle for LGBTQ rights and recognition.
We as Malawians, we are religious people and we believe in God, and we always want to follow the commandment of God. God created man and woman, and together they become a family, and we have to protect that family because God wanted us to continue creating through the family between man and a woman.
The law is just straightforward. Same-sex marriages are not allowed, whether in the Quran or in the Bible. That's why we suggested to join them. Two, we wanted to send a message, because there are some other people who don't go to the mosque or to the church. They should get this message. Same-sex marriages we don't want in this country. And again, we want to send a message to the parliament, the authority of this country, those who are responsible when it comes to enacting the laws of this country, that they should even not try to do it. We don't want it.
It is indeed a contentious issue. Some argue that religious institutions have the right to voice their beliefs and uphold their values, while others see these actions as discriminatory and harmful to the LGBTQ community. What are your thoughts on the fairness of these protests?
It's crucial to recognize that freedom of expression is a fundamental human right, and religious institutions have the right to voice their opinions and beliefs. However, the question arises when these expressions infringe on the rights and dignity of others, including the LGBTQ community. Fairness lies in striking a balance between freedom of expression and the protection of human rights for all individuals, irrespective of their sexual orientation or gender identity.
That's an important point to consider. How might these marches impact the LGBTQ community in Malawi?
The consequences of such protests can be deeply concerning for the LGBTQ community. Public displays of opposition against their rights can lead to increased discrimination, stigmatization, and even violence. This can create a hostile and unsafe environment for LGBTQ individuals, affecting their mental and physical well-being. Furthermore, it may discourage them from seeking help or support when facing challenges.
Undoubtedly, the well-being and safety of all citizens should be a priority for any society. What about the broader impact on the Malawian society as a whole?
The divisive nature of these protests can create social polarization and hinder efforts to foster inclusivity and unity in Malawi. It may distract from addressing more pressing issues that require collective action and collaboration. Additionally, international perception of the country might be affected, which could impact tourism, foreign investments, and international partnerships.
Addressing the issue of LGBTQ rights requires open dialogue and understanding between all stakeholders. How can we bridge the gap between religious institutions and the LGBTQ community in Malawi?
Constructive dialogue is the key to finding common ground. It is essential for religious institutions, LGBTQ activists, and policymakers to engage in respectful conversations that promote empathy and understanding. Encouraging religious leaders to acknowledge the dignity and rights of LGBTQ individuals while expressing their beliefs respectfully can be a significant step forward.
Finding common ground through respectful dialogue is indeed vital. How will Malawi move forward with this issue?
Yes, there are some positive developments in Malawi. For instance, in 2020, the country took a step forward when the High Court legalized same-sex relationships. This landmark decision was a significant victory for LGBTQ rights in the country and marked progress towards greater equality.
Well, that's encouraging to hear. As we conclude, what message would you like to send to our listeners regarding the LGBTQ rights issue in Malawi?
I'd like to emphasize that promoting LGBTQ rights does not diminish the rights of others. Upholding human rights for all individuals, irrespective of their sexual orientation or gender identity, fosters a more inclusive and just society. It is essential to respect differing opinions while working together towards a harmonious and equitable Malawi. It's encouraging to see Muslims and Christians working together in Malawi. It never happens in other countries. Similarly, LGBTQ communities should not be harassed because of their unique sexual orientation. In addition, religious institutions in Malawi need to be questioned. When the lives of people with albinism are threatened, they did not protest. When public officers misappropriate public funds, they don't protest. When a Catholic priest was caught having sex at the airport with a nun, they did not protest. Why are they protesting LGBTQ community that has done nothing wrong to anybody? If it is against God, it is for God to judge, not humans.
Now we've come to the end of our program today. Thank you, Dean, for sharing your insights, and thanks to our dear listeners for tuning in.
Thank you for having me, Crispin. It's been a privilege to discuss this critical issue.
As always, we want to hear your thoughts. Post your comments on msika.tech, msika.tech. Remember, progress comes from empathy, understanding, and a willingness to learn from each other. Let's keep the conversation going. Until next week, when we shall bring you another edition of Omuntu. I am Crispin Dambula. Bye for now.